Hey guys, I'm Big Mike, and like always, I'd like to thank you for being here today. Today we have IQFeed here to talk about the new IQFeed 5.0, some of the new features that they've launched with the product. There's actually several members of IQFeed here today, including Jay, Robert, Curtis, and Steve. I'll let them handle their own introductions later. Some of the bullet points that will be covered in today's webinar include the new millisecond resolution that's available in 5.0, a new account management portal, some new options with text-to-speech news alerts, using IQFeed directly in Excel via the DDE, a look at the IQFeed API for developers, and a discussion briefly on some of the other IQFeed features that you're probably not aware of, but you should be. And then at the end, we'll have an open Q&A, and that's why we have 4 different people here from IQFeed today to make sure that everybody can get their questions answered from the appropriate person in charge or appropriate department. The webinar is being recorded as always, so as you guys have questions, just type them in, and we'll do our best to get everyone's questions answered. I'll post the recording of the webinar sometime tomorrow on BMT. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Jay. So Jay, I'm giving you control, and you should now see the option to share your screen again.
All right, thanks Mike. Hopefully everyone can hear me.
Yep, and we see the PowerPoint. Looks good.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so again, thanks a lot Mike. Appreciate everyone who's attending here, and hopefully I can convey some interesting tidbits of IQFeed to you that maybe you're not already aware of. You know, as I'm assuming, the majority of you are either current IQFeed customers or maybe thought about becoming an IQFeed customer. My intent here is not to give you a sales pitch. I think, quite honestly, all the members of Big Mike's Forum are probably some of our best sales guys out there. They obviously use our product and like our product, and I leave it to them to convey whether or not we have a product that's worth using for your trading activity. Just to introduce myself, I'm Jay Froscheiser. I run our active trader business here at well, and I'll get into with who, whether that's DTN, Televent, Schneider Electric, or the company du jour for us today. But I've also got with me Curtis Thompson from our customer service group. He's actually came in a little early today for this webinar because he's recently moved to our overnight shift, which is a piece that I'm going to mention briefly, and that is I don't think people realize we offer 24-hour customer support. So Curtis is one of our overnight guys now. He's been with IQ for years and very knowledgeable on the technical side, and he can pretty much help with anything that may go wrong with IQFeed or any third-party software. I've also got Robert Carrillo here. He's on our sales team, and not only is he on our sales team, but he is the guy who has really been dedicated to Big Mike trading customers. So if you're a member of the forum, whether that's an elite member or just a visitor, Robert spends a lot of time on the forums. He's reading what you guys are reading. He's he wants to know how people are using not only our product but all the products out there so that we're serving your needs. So if you ever have a question, ever have a problem, can't get it resolved through our normal 800 number of channels or anywhere else, Robert's the guy that you can go to, and he's dedicated to visitors for Big Mike's Forum. I've also got Steve Schumacher, who's one of our developers and also the lead support for developers. So anyone who buys our API and is building their own applications, they probably work with Steve in some regard. Not only again, does he do the support, but he's also a developer on the team, so he's helping architect the next versions of IQFeed as we work on them. And so with that, I'm going to jump in. Again, this webinar may be a little different than what some of you are used to. I'm going to talk fast, hopefully not too fast. So hopefully I don't lose anyone, but I don't want to cover anything that's boring or annoying to you. Again, I'm not here to really pitch anything. What I want to try and get out there is some of the stuff that even current IQFeed users may not realize they have access to with our product. Yes, we're going to cover IQFeed 5, but quite honestly, we're a data provider. It's kind of boring. there's not a whole lot to show. I don't have fancy charts and flashy blinky lights going all over my screen, so it's not quite as exciting. I'm not going to be showing you this chart compared to this chart. Listen, I think everyone realizes that there's a difference between a professional data feed and any other data feed. But in the end, we're dedicated to this business. We're a professional company, and more than anything, I want to convey to you guys that we have a team here, that's here to support you. So, with that, I'm going to jump in real quick here and just kind of show you, who is behind IQFeed. So, we've been around. This company, anyway, DTN, has been around for about 40 years. We've been providing market data, weather information, and all kinds of tools that any kind of trader, whether that be an equity trader, an ag trader, an energy trader, any kind of trading, we've been providing data to them for over 40 years. So we started out as DTN, and then here about 4 years ago, our company, well, about 15 years ago, let me take a step back, we created the IQFeed product. So this isn't a new product. We've been doing this a long time, and while nothing is perfect, we've almost perfected it, and we're constantly adding features to it. It's in active development, but in the end, it's been around a long time. So with that, about 4 years ago, our company, DTN, was acquired by a company called Telvent. They're based in Spain. They're a large company. They had about 6,000 employees. So it was a little bit of a shift. We have about 500 to 600 employees, and then became part of a 6,000 employee company. So you probably saw, if you've been with IQ for several years, you've seen some of our branding change to this orange color, and IQFeed, a Telvent brand. So as part of a bigger company, there's always branding changes that come along with it. So after that, Telvent was acquired by a company called Schneider Electric. This was about a year and a half or so ago. So we are now actually part of a much larger company. This is a French company. About 135,000 employees are part of our organization. The 35 billion euros in revenue, so an enormous company, obviously worldwide. And with that, you've gone back to DTN IQFeed. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense being part of Schneider Electric to start calling ourselves Schneider Electric IQFeed. People know us as DTN. People know us as IQFeed. So that's what we're going back to. We are DTN IQFeed. The reason I bring this up is because I'll talk a little bit about our account management portal, but when you go to that account management portal, you're going to see Schneider Electric, you're going to see Telvent, you're going to see DTN, you're going to see DTN the Progressive Farmer. We have all these different brands within our parent organization, and as we implement certain corporate resources that benefit our customers, you're going to see some of that. Just didn't want people to get confused when they go to our account management portal and see other logos there. In the end, who's behind IQFeed? It's a lot of dedicated people. They're here to serve traders. Through a few snapshots, it's we're a cubicle organization here, but numerous departments from billing to customer service to development to sales. All of these groups working in tandem, all as one group here to serve our customers. So, go through just a couple of things. What you already know about IQFeed. Again, we're a professional market data company for professional traders. We got accurate, fast, reliable data, deep historical data. It's always building, but we've got a little over 7 years now of E-mini data. That's 1-minute bars. You can ask for it in any interval you want. So you want 9-minute intervals, 13-minute intervals, 20-minute intervals. You can request that from the server. 120 calendar days of tick data, 10-plus years of daily bars, indexes as an example. We recently expanded that and loaded history back to, I think it's somewhere in the 30s or 40s, so decades of daily bars for certain indexes. But again, the core underwriting principle here is it's ridiculously good customer service. I've been with DTN for 24 years myself. I've been in our customer service group. I've taken the frontline calls. I've helped our customers, and it's still a passion for me. And that's I think ingrained in everybody on our team now is that without our customers, without being able to serve them, none of us would have jobs. So we take it very seriously. So a few things you may not know. Within IQFeed, we have over 800 developers currently working with our SDK API. So while we have thousands of customers, 800 individual developers that are working with our API that are either building a commercial application or maybe their own. So, again, a lot of our customers come to us through referrals from various software applications, and hey, I need a reliable, good data feed for that application. A lot of you are technical and may not be aware that you can get our API and access the data directly as well. So while you're using, say, MultiCharts or NinjaTrader or Sierra Charts or AmbiBroker, any of these software applications that work with IQFeed, you could also be developing your own application off the data as well. And I'm going to go through, actually, this is going to be the first time we've ever done this, but I'm going to go through some of the core functionality of our API. I hope it's not too technical for everybody, but I think Big Mike's visitors and members are a class above when it comes to technical expertise. So hopefully it'll be received well, and you'll learn something about really what you can do with IQFeed under the covers. So 800 developers. We have over 50 commercial software applications that support IQFeed. I think that's a testament to the service we provide. We work very closely with our partners, with the software vendors. Every one of them we have a relationship with. In the end, those software vendors are often telling us, we so much prefer customers to use IQFeed because they have less support issues. They know it's going to work. They know it's not going to be data related when a customer's having an issue. So a lot of different software choices out there that do various things. All of them have their strengths, and some of them have weaknesses. But in the end, there's multiple software applications you can use with IQFeed, and you can use them all at the same time. So you can have a single IQFeed subscription pumping data into multiple applications. We have customers in 90 countries. We're a worldwide organization, and I would tell you probably 60% of our new customers these days are international. They're outside of the U.S. We have a very strong market internationally. We look to continue growing internationally. We're actively soliciting customers for exchanges they'd like to see us add, and we're looking to invest in the business by adding new exchanges. So if there's any data you'd like to see in IQFeed, feel free to, when we get to the Q&A section here, we'll take those requests, we'll record them. We have a database internally here for every single request we receive, whether it's a current customer or a prospective customer. We'll record that request, and we'll go out and get those exchanges that make sense for us. We have fully redundant data centers. We've got over 120 servers, so it's not a small operation here. We don't run on a shoestring budget. We take this very seriously. We need to serve data to customers when they need it the most. So 120 servers currently supporting IQFeed. Our ticker plant here is ingesting data at an average rate of about 860,000 messages per second. So try and comprehend that in your mind, and it's a lot of data coming through our system being processed. That's just on average. Peak-wise, we've seen peaks at on very active times. Obviously, turmoil in the marketplace, up to 7 million messages per second. So we're able to process it. That's the key message there. We're storing about 300 million ticks every single day. It's all being recorded to our system. I'm sure one of the questions is going to be, will you expand the amount of tick data available to IQ customers? And the answer is we hope so. So we are looking at expanding what is available to IQFeed currently. So with multiple 10 gig circuits between the exchanges, our ticker plant, and the internet, and in the end, again, it's all about redundancy. We can lose an entire data center and still serve 100% of our customers. So I'm not saying everything's 100% reliable. We all know that internet connections go down. Heck, I think there's some pretty nasty storms out there right now, and I'm sure there's people who are going to lose connections to this webinar due to those storms. So things happen, but we do have redundant systems, and we're prepared for those outages. So with that, I'm going to jump in here real quick. And again, I think I prefaced the entire webinar with, I don't have a lot of whiz-bang stuff to show you with regards to IQFeed. I am going to jump into our DJIQ application. I'm going to show you that milliseconds are for real. We've actually been sending milliseconds out since the first of the year. That's been going out from our servers, and it's been going out to developers for testing and development purposes. You don't see it because the third-party software doesn't support it yet. So as soon as various applications, we've got commitment from NinjaTrader, Sierra Charts, MultiCharts, just to name a few that have committed to supporting the millisecond precision on the timestamps. It's up to them when that new version gets released. I know a couple of them are very close. We just released yesterday the public beta for IQFeed 5.0, and the beauty of that is that you can all go download IQFeed 5.0 now. It is in beta, so just be forewarned that it hasn't gone through full regression and QA testing within our organization, but we've been testing it quite a bit. We have tested backward compatibility, and it appears to work without any problem in just about every software app we've tried. So you can access that now from our website. We released it yesterday. We anticipate, hopefully within the next couple weeks, we'll go full live release and take the beta off of that release. So hopefully no one will be concerned at that point. But again, what are you going to see today? Probably not a whole lot. Hopefully you'll see some efficiencies. The code itself is always being enhanced and optimized. For example, in our development group, we just changed around some of our developers. No new members in the team, or we didn't lose anybody or replace anybody, but we shifted members around a little bit between our server and client team. And the goal in that is bring fresh blood in, bring new ideas in, get a new set of eyes looking at the code, making sure that we're doing things as efficiently as we possibly can. So every release we put out there, we get feedback from developers, we get feedback from customers, and we're always enhancing things. So, with IQFeed, millisecond precision, again, timestamps to the millisecond, assuming that the exchange provides it. I believe it's Eurex that only sends, I can't remember the actual precision, but it's not milliseconds. So obviously we can't send a millisecond if the exchange doesn't send it to us. We're not making up these timestamps. So we're sending what the exchange does up to the millisecond. It's going to provide you with more granularity for your back testing, your algorithms, your analytics. Not everybody cares, but in this world of high-frequency trading, everybody wants a little better, more granular look at the market. And with this, we'll be able to provide that to you. The millisecond precision is throughout the application. It's in the streaming quotes. It's in the market depth. It's in the historical data. So as a customer, when you pull that historical data out, you'll see all those timestamps match exactly with what you would have received in the stream. On top of that, we have a new version protocol. And what that allows us to do is to release IQFeed 5.0 without breaking anybody. So going forward, backward compatibility becomes much less of an issue. We've been very cognizant about not breaking customers as we release new versions of IQFeed, but at some point you have to advance the technology. With this, let's say NinjaTrader as an example, if you want to install IQFeed 5.0, NinjaTrader is still going to get the old 4.9 protocol until you upgrade to a new version of NinjaTrader that requests the new IQFeed 5.0 protocol. So that allows you to run the IQFeed client, IQFeed 5.0 client, yet it'll output the old protocol for software that doesn't update yet. So it's a good thing for end users, it's a good thing for developers, and it's a good thing for us to be able to advance the technology even faster and not worry about breaking people. Another big feature, and this is more for the equities, but we now send trade conditions along with all the trades. So previously, essentially, we just sent a regular trade or a Form T trade. So you knew that it was kind of a day session versus the extended market on equities. We are now providing the full trade conditions for every trade. We store that historically as well. And it really provides a lot more flexibility for developers to decide what they want to see, whether it's in a chart or what they want to include in an algorithm. Some people don't want to include all the kind of ancillary trades. And historically on IQ, we provide historical tick data, and that's normally includes what we call last qualifying trades. There's some ancillary trades and various trade conditions that we don't store in our tick history. With this now, we store every single trade type in our history and then allow the developer to choose what they get out of it. It's not that we were doing anything wrong before or weren't providing a full service, because we were providing what most traders wanted. This just provides a lot more granularity for the higher end algo guys who really want to have control over what they're charting and what they're processing. So again, bug fixes. We're also always looking. It may not be directly tied to IQFeed 5.0, but just recently we rolled out a ticker enhancement. We went to a new proprietary in-memory database system that we developed. We were using some I wouldn't say off the shelf, but some commercial libraries for some storage. We rolled that out initially with our Oprah feed, so equity options feed, and the result of that was a 2,600% improvement in performance. That's going to get rolled throughout all of our systems here throughout the year. And again, it's just an example of the things that we're doing to make sure that IQFeed continues to be the best product out there. So with that, I'm going to just bring up here, hopefully everyone will be able to see it, but I'm going to bring up a watch quote. This is our DJIQ application. It's essentially an add-on for IQFeed. It's powered by IQFeed. Gives you it's pretty basic in the sense that it's watch lists and time and sales and that type of thing. So let's see if I can find something. We'll bring up the E-minis. Markets. Let's see, markets closed. We've got some stuff quoting out there. But so you'll see some E-minis. Hopefully everyone's seeing that okay. E-mini, for example, here, and let's get the timestamp. So at the timestamp, you'll see the millisecond precision being sent through there. Previously, you would have just seen the seconds, so now we've got the milliseconds in there as well. With that, I will bring up also a time and sales application. So again, this is from within the DJIQ, but this is everything that you see in our DJIQ app is available to any third-party application out there as well. So whether that be NinjaTrader, multi-charts, and so on, or an individual developer who's building his own. So if I come in here and do @ES pound, tick data, see what I'm set to pull back, 1,000 ticks. Go ahead and request that. So I've got 1,000 data points. And again, you can see the millisecond precision here as I scroll through. And again, this would be exactly what would have come through in the stream as well. And it's all updating in real time. If I come back and look at an equity as an example, right now I'm just pulling regular session hours, but you see the trade conditions for the equities, so you can see not only regular trades, but looks like a fair number of intermarket sweeps and cross trades at the close. Let's see if we can scroll through and see any others in there. Looks like a lot of trades at the intermarket sweep. The market center also for every trade is now being stored historically. That's something we weren't doing previously, so that's an enhancement in IQFeed 5.0 as well. Again, primarily the equity traders that we have is going to be most used there. I'm going to come in and turn on extended trades. So now you'll see everything post-market as well for Microsoft. And that's just one point, and we'll get into this with the IQFeed API, but you'll notice there's a lot of different ways I can request data from IQFeed. So now we're seeing Form T trades. Again, there's some intermarket sweeps with the Form T. Let's see if there's okay, here's an average price trade. So again, just various trade conditions as part of our API. In addition to these kind of abbreviations, we also have the descriptions. I'm not an expert as to what every one of these 100 different trade conditions are, but we do have people here that know and can answer those questions if they come about. So again, just an example of the millisecond precision, the trade conditions, and the IQFeed 5.0. Some of the new things that we've got out the door as a beta currently. So with that, we'll keep moving along here. Again, I'm trying to get through this fairly quick. I want you guys to get a feel for some of this, but I really want to get to Q&A as well so we can answer anyone's questions that you have. One of the things that we just released as well, just here about a week ago actually, is our new account management portal. So as we joke sometimes, we always wish we could get development done faster and get things to our customers, but it just sometimes doesn't happen as quick as we'd like. But wish we would have had this years ago. But we now have a full account management system for IQFeed customers. Allows you to log in, use your IQFeed login and password, view your billing history, download invoices. You've been able to do this for a couple of years, actually, the invoicing and billing information. But what we've added is the ability to see everything about your account. So now you can see, what am I subscribed to? What services do I have on my account? What am I paying for them? And then the biggest feature here is that you can now add anything to your account in real time, 24 hours a day. So if you decided, hey, I really need to see what the DAX market, what the Eurex market's doing. I want to see the DAX. I want to see it in real time. No problem. Log into your account at 2 o'clock in the morning, go and add the Eurex exchange. It'll walk you through the process, ordering. We already have your credit card information. You'll fill out any exchange agreements that are needed, and you'll be live with that data within a minute or two. So 24 hours a day, full account management to go view what you have on your subscription, add things, add premium services, premium newswires, premium data sets, anything, change your password. If you want to add another login ID, all those things can be done now online. I want to preface with, we still have people here to help you, though. Our goal is not to hide behind a system and make you do everything yourself. If you have questions, we're here. Again, customer service is here 24 hours a day during the week. Robert's here to help you, and I'd almost argue he's probably available 24 hours a day as well. He sleeps sometimes. But in the end, you can come in and get immediate service whenever you need to. So going through, just again, brief summary of the DJIQ feed difference. So people, to me, this is a big piece. And I think to our customers, it's the same thing. We get a lot of comments from our customers. Luckily, most of them are positive, but the majority of what we hear is, Robert helped me and was fantastic. I contacted customer service, and they were fantastic. Customer service contacted me just to see how things were working. Couldn't believe that type of service from an internet company. And that's the point I want to make. We have dedicated sales, dedicated support, dedicated billing people. We have multiple departments. This isn't one group of people that are answering all of these general questions. We have a dedicated billing department here that you contact. They know everything there is to know about our billing system, and they can answer your questions. That's available via real-time chat as of recently, in fact. So go to our website. You can chat with our billing reps. If you have any questions about billing, they're here to help you. Again, online account management now. You can go in and see all of your invoices, and hopefully it's a little more self-explanatory than it has been in the past. We've got our development staff, QA department, market data analysts, and again, dedicated management. So, I minimized that piece because, quite honestly, it's all about the people that are working with our customers. Management as a whole, we're here to support everybody, but our goal is to support traders and make sure that we've got a product that meets their needs. So when you talk about our data, just some of the quick hit things that that stands out. 1,800 symbols. We can stream you 1,800 symbols simultaneously. You may only be trading one thing, but a lot of people want to see a portfolio of whether that's their stocks or other markets, forex, and so on. Options. That's where it becomes a big issue. I want to bring up an option chain. We can let you watch in real time 1,800 symbols. We're now up to over 780 individual market breadth and stat symbols. You've got the tick, trend, PC ratios, and so on. There's 785 of these. If you go to our website, the symbol guide, go to the indexes, you can download the full list of all the market breadth stat symbols that we do. Our historical data is fast. I love when I hear from customers that say, even though they're using our client, they may have access to IQFeed data through a white label type scenario or something, and we actually hear from people that say it's faster using your client than that direct connection. Again, that's kudos to my developers because their focus is always on efficiency. So I think we do a pretty good job there. We've got the millisecond precision. Regional quotes is something that I don't think people realize we have for equities. Not only do we have the best bid and ask, but we have regional data as well. So I'll show you a little bit about how to get some of that through the API. Most of the third-party applications out there don't support it, but it's available as part of IQFeed, and it's in the service you're paying for. We have flexible interfaces. I'll show you that with the API. Commitment to trader data. Not only do we have the report as a news story, the full report, but and that's available for everybody in the news app. But we also have the commitment of trader elementized data that we bring in from the reports and available historically to chart as well. So again, we're not just exchange data. We're all about trading tools and trading information that you need. The strategy spread, so a little more advanced data that comes from the exchanges. We've got the back adjusted continuation data or not, so you can use the pound C data to get back adjusted data or just the pound data to get unadjusted continuation charts. We're constantly improving that. In fact, I've got a meeting, I believe it's next week, to talk about further enhancements that are coming to that process. One of the big requests is for a most active symbol. A lot of people ask for it without knowing exactly what they're asking for and the ramifications of what they're asking for. So we're spending a lot of time making sure we do it right internally for traders and how they need to see the data. With IQFeed, you can watch data on multiple markets. Again, one of those things that I take for granted and all of our employees take for granted that a customer knows, but we find every day a customer doesn't realize that they can actually, they may have subscribed just so they can trade the E-mini, but they have access to a real-time quote on Microsoft. Just pay the exchange fee. If you don't pay the exchange fee, it's delayed. It's included in your subscription. You want to see the DAX? That's fine. It's in there for free, delayed. You want to see it in real time? Get the exchange fee added, but you can watch these markets. They're all included in your subscription at no extra cost. Yes, it's delayed. You got to pay exchange fees for the real-time data, but it's available to you. So you can watch data on multiple markets. On the equity side, again, some third-party software doesn't support all of our fundamental information for equities, but we've got the PEs, the dividends, earnings per share, beta, volatility, and so on. That's all part of the feed. It's all part of the service you're paying for. So, the IQFeed client software I touched on, the IB exchange fee waiver, that's part of the IQFeed client software. So if you're using IQFeed with some third-party application that you're trading with interactive brokers, we can qualify you for the exchange fee waiver through a plugin we developed. Again, it's a demand from customers. They really wanted to qualify for the waivers. Interactive brokers, as everyone knows, is very automated. They didn't really want to support the program like some of our other brokers, which is fabulous. And the list of brokers that support our exchange fee waiver, it's crazy, between Infinity, Global Futures, and Optimus Futures, and AMP and Mirus, and just about any of the major brokers out there, and a lot of the non-major brokers out there support our IQFeed exchange fee waiver program. So we have a lot of information about that on our site. Again, multiple software access. So if you want to run NinjaTrader, multi-charts, and Sierra charts all at the same time, you can do that. One IQFeed subscription, run all three, pump the same data into it. You're going to see the same data on your charts. You don't have to worry about conflicting data, or you don't have to worry about bringing a stream of data over the internet multiple times, because we send it to your system once and we send it out to each one of those software applications. Streaming real-time news and watch quote. We're going to get into this here in a second. And then again, support. We recently, several months ago, went to 24-hour days customer support. We've got somebody here from Sunday afternoon through Friday. So we're here before the markets open on Sunday afternoon. We're here until the markets close on Friday. They're available via email, via forums. Right now, we only do phone support during the day, but that phone support is 6:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. And that's Central Time, by the way. So pick up the phone and call us. Not only is the 800 number, but we also have a local number for international customers. So don't rely on an email. We reply to emails within an hour, but if you have an urgent question, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll get you an answer right away. So some of the hidden gems, we're going to get into some demo now finally, something to show you. So one of the big things that we've always provided to all IQFeed customers is news. You get streaming real-time news as part of your subscription. A lot of our customers don't realize that, and quite honestly, a lot of our customers didn't have access to view the data until recently. So what we decided to do was take our DJIQ GUI application, pull out the news client, and make it available to all IQFeed users. So that's now available to you. You get 100 or 1,000 stories a day streaming to you. RTT News, PR Newswire, Business Wire, Globe Newswire, all included in the basic service. So you're not paying anything to get that. You're already getting it. We do have some premium wires, so great news from Fly on the Wall, Midnight Trader, Market Watch. Market Watch, it's a lot of the same stuff that's on their website, but this is streaming to you in real time. Again, no need to go to a website to bring up the content. We've got the Dow Jones, AP, Schneider Electric, and DTN. We have our own newsroom doing not only ag and commodity market analysis, but energy markets as well. Within this app, you can email stories to yourself or to a friend. As Mike had alluded to, text-to-speech. I love this feature. It's just, for me, I can sit here and run our news application. It'll read the headlines to me over text-to-speech. I just minimize the app. It's not in my way at all. And I can just hear in the background it reading off the headlines as they come in. I can set up filters for that, pop-up alerts, and all that kind of stuff. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up real quick, and hopefully, hopefully everyone will be able to see this. With IQFeed, as you may know, it runs down in your system tray. There's nothing in the way of your screen here with IQFeed. So I'm going to bring it up. It's the IQFeed Connection Manager. It looks like the same DTN logo as the icon. So I right-click on that. I go to Display Apps, and I go to News. That's going to bring up this news application. The unfortunate thing is I don't think you guys can hear the text-to-speech that's playing through my speakers right now. They're actually in my headset. So you're not going to hear that, but trust me, it just read some headlines to me. So with this, you're seeing some headlines scrolling through. Now, granted, I'm authorized for every news source under the sun, including all of our premiums. Some of the sources have duplicates. For example, Dow Jones sends the same headline to multiple different sources. So there's some duplicates that come through here. But within our news application, again, this is available to all IQFeed customers right now. You just install our app and you'll have this. Over here on the left side is all the news categories. Again, some of these are premium, so the standard subscription is not going to have all of these options in here. But for example, Real-Time Trader is part of the base. I can just drill down and just look at those particular headlines. Breaking news, big stories, analyst updates, stocks on the move, for example. So here's a list of some stocks. They're doing scans of things that are climbing to a new X month high, or breaking out on higher volume, or things that are breaking out from the norm. Market overviews. So I want to see what happened in the market today. Not just U.S. markets, but international markets as well. So here's a European market summary. It's full text. You see how quick that loaded in, and there's a lot of text there. So if you want to know what's going on in the world, this is a great source for getting access to that. Economic news. It's not just U.S. economic news. So if you're a Forex trader, this is providing great information for you on international markets. Again, so here's some Fed minute information. When I click on it, you probably didn't even see that it just pulled in a new story. You can hardly, it's just that fast. Again, it's not going to a website. It's not pulling in a website with a bunch of ads or anything. It's just all about getting data to you as quickly as possible. Some of it's headlines only, and hopefully I don't get tripped up too much, because in my ears right now I keep hearing headlines getting read to me. So again, premium wires such as Midnight Trader, Great News Wire, Fly on the Wall. Each of these wires are somewhere in the usually between 20 and 35 bucks a month. Market Wire, again, PR News Wire, a lot of equities, shows you the symbols that are part of the story, any equities that are part of the story. But the filters are one of the cool features. So I can come in here and set up a filter. I have 2 of them currently running. This one's just a basic service filter, so that I can see what comes through our basic service and gets rid of all the premium stuff. But I also have one called Read Fly Headlines. Now, originally, it was just reading headlines from Fly on the Wall News. I went ahead and added, though, it's now doing Fly on the Wall News, Midnight Trader, as well as Market Watch headlines. So I've got those 3 sources it's going to read to me. I could set up keywords, so if there's a keyword in the headline, so I could maybe say Bernanke or something. Have that also as part of the filter. Any stock symbols. Again, this is more equities-based, so putting corn in there isn't going to help, or E-mini isn't going to help, because it's not, the news isn't currently indexed that way. But based on that, I can have it pop up a message box, or I can have it play a sound, just a beep or a wave file. In the case of right now, what I have it doing is actually reading a headline. So again, I wish you could hear this, but go and play around with the settings, and if you're an IQFeed customer, you'll hear it. In this case, it's actually reading. I have it typed in here to read new headline from IQ, and then it reads the headline. I could come in here and I can add a couple other variables like source, for example. So in this case, it would read the headline as well as what the source of that headline, so which one of these news wires did it come from. I could also add, I believe, date is one of them, so that would tell me the date the story came out or the time. So so there's some flexibility that you can put in here within these filters. So you can create multiple filters that do different things, and once you have that filter set up, you can just come down here and look at the filters. So here's some news from the basic service. This is currently what I have being read to me in my ears. So each one of these headlines, as a new one comes in, again, it'll stream in real time and update for me. I can also, again, with the alerts, I can have it pop up an alert. Or say, maybe this particular story, hey, I want to send that to somebody. I can right-click on the headline, email it, DJIQ.com, and it'll email a copy of that story to me, or I can send it to a friend or send it to a cell phone if I wanted to. So, so that functionality is in there again. Wanted to bring this out to everybody, let you know that it's available to all IQFeed customers. A lot of third-party software does have a news reader or the ability to read news, but a lot of them don't have all this functionality in there. So you can use the news application in NinjaTrader, for example, but you might also use it here, and you can use them both at the same time if you want. So that's the news application that's part of IQFeed. On past that, now DDE linking. This is something that's been in IQFeed forever, and again, a lot of customers don't realize it, don't realize what they can do with it. But with this, you're able to pump the real-time stream from IQFeed directly into Excel or any other DDE compliant application. So you don't need a third-party app to do it. It's built into IQFeed. Again, like everything, you can stream data into Excel from IQFeed at the same time while you're pumping data into a third-party application. So all works at the same time. Again, we use DDE, a little older technology. We haven't upgraded it yet to RTD, and it's only the stream. So it's the real-time data as it comes through. If you need more functionality, we've got some great third-party plugins that have been written to IQFeed. Again, the beauty of our developer network. XLQ and QuoteIn are two fantastic add-ins that add not only RTD functionality, but the ability to pull historical data from IQFeed into Excel, market depth, plus they have all kinds of built-in custom formulas that you can use, and it really makes things nice. So, some of the, I don't know the exact pricing. Again, they're a third party that wrote to our API for customers. I can tell you we have hundreds of users using it, and I think they're priced, I think one of them maybe charges a monthly fee, and the other it's like $100 or something, one-time fee, so it's a fantastic deal. So with that, though, I'll give you a quick demo of how some of that works. With the IQFeed installation, we also put in the folder a sample DD spreadsheet. So I'm going to bring that up. This is the same spreadsheet that is available to everybody. It should be on your machine there if you have IQFeed. Click Update, yes, so it turns on the DD linking. Markets are closed for the most part. I have what looks like just equities and indexes in here, so they're all closed. But all this data just loaded real-time off of IQFeed. So you might see with some post-market, you see some volume numbers updating a little bit here with post-market trading information. But all this data is loaded straight from IQFeed. This is just a good example application. And you'll see here, like the last price for Microsoft. Here's the formula you type into a cell to bring the last price. If I change that Microsoft to a different symbol, it'll give me the last price for that symbol. With that, I can then create whatever formula. So in this case, I've got my portfolio value, so it's just calculating the sum of all these. I got a percent change being calculated. All of it being done in real time. So if there's some custom, fairly simple thing you want to do with the data, you're not a developer, but you have some familiarity with spreadsheets, you can do this. And we have some help information in here that shows you things that you can do. All the fields are available. So I've got some of the fields listed here, but you can see that there's, I don't know how many total fields we have these days, but it's probably 60 or so fields of data, not only current price, quote information, but the fundamental data as well is all available as DDE elements. So again, this sample spreadsheet's out there for you, so you can use that and start playing around with it. Just as another example, I'm going to give this one a shot. This one doesn't work so well without live data, but we'll give it a shot. This is actually a spreadsheet I built years ago. I'm not really a programmer, but I pretend to act like one periodically when I drink Mountain Dew and wear my propeller hat. So in this case, it's a Excel spreadsheet where it's essentially creating a time and sales window of sorts. So I'm going to enter EUR, USD, I'm going to do ABBA, the average bid for that. Let's just see if it even works. Yeah, it's working. So so you'll see here this tick chart's being built off the streaming data. Again, it's a little more impressive when the markets are a little more active, and in this particular case, this currency symbol is fairly inactive, and it's also somewhat flatlined in price. But and because it's Forex, the bar chart in here, that's volume. Volume comes through every trade as 1 with Forex, but you see the trade price as it's come through, or actually the last price, and it's building time and sales. So something a little more active is a bit more impressive to see, but it just gives you an example of something that you can do within Excel. This is using a macro. Again, I can't even tell you how I did it these days because I probably built this spreadsheet 10 years ago, but it just gives you another example of what you can do without real programming or deep-level API access. This is just part of the basic service pumping into Excel. So it's building that time and sales list, and we'll keep building as the data gets received. Close that out. Let's see what next topics we have. Exchange fee waivers, really I'm not going to cover this. I'll maybe give you a quick demo if you haven't seen the IB waiver. Again, that's part of the IQFeed client. Right-click, go to the IQFeed connection manager, go to configuration, exchange waivers. This only works for IB, where we had to actually integrate directly into their API to be able to validate your account. It's one of the functions of the software, of the CME group's requirements, is that we have to be able to validate your account. So we built this plugin. All you got to do is come in here, enable the exchange waiver, and click validate. I'm not going to do it because I don't have TWS running, the interactive broker software, and so it'll just error out. I guess I can click it, and you'll see that it's going to error. But if you had TWS running and had a funded trading account, this is going to come back and say that your waivers were validated. You leave that turned on. Every time you bring up IQ, it's going to revalidate it in the background. It just does it on its own, and it's not going to annoy you in any way, and that'll qualify you for the exchange fee waivers. So save you the CME group fees, but it's going to give you just Globex data. That's good enough for most people, at least most of our customers. They're trading electronic contracts. So that's a little quick coverage there. We also have an app. I'm not going to bring up this app because the market's closed and it's an equity-based scanner, but it's an add-on service to IQFeed. It lets you view the most actives, gainers, losers, and so on. And the difference is it's streaming in real time. So it's not just a static list of the most active stocks, but it's actually constantly scanning the servers for the most actives, or the biggest gainers, the biggest losers. It'll give you the 50 top for any of those categories. But the real advantage is the custom scans. So within custom scans, you can go in and enter up to 3 criteria. So say I want any of the stocks trading on NASDAQ that are over $10 a share, have a PE less than 18, and a last price greater than 20. And hit start, and it'll start scanning the market for some stocks that match that criteria. And again, it's scanning constantly and returning results in real time. So especially in the mornings, it's really nice to see stocks that are maybe breaking out, things that have a percent change greater than 10%. And as things pop in and start hitting that threshold, it'll start being added to the list. So again, you can use this application at the same time while you're running any third-party apps. So the diagnostics apps. So let's get into some of the technical grit of IQFeed. I need to probably start speeding things up because I want to make sure, again, that we have time for Q&A. But the diagnostic app is going to give you a lot of functionality that our customer service group may ask you to look into, but it also is there for you to have access to not only if you're having problems, but just monitoring things. Say, probably one of the biggest things is somebody thinks that their IQFeed data is delayed. It's coming in 30 seconds delayed, or it seems to be queuing up data. We have a tool that allows you to find out if that's the case. So this is part of your IQFeed. You can access it. Again, right-click, go to support, and launch diagnostics. And it's just a very simple application. But first step here on the IQ Connect, we can test real quick, enter in a test equity, so we're into Microsoft, and click test. All this does is it goes out and really just kind of hits all the functions of the API and makes sure everything is working properly. So you see these check boxes, that means everything's working. So inside of these tabs, you'll see it was able to receive your account information. It was able to get a streaming quote. So here you see streaming quote data is coming in. It's the raw data from IQFeed. Did the COM objects work? Yep, COM looks like it worked, and it did a symbol lookup that got data back. history? Was it able to get history? Yes. So if you're having trouble, using some function of IQFeed, so your third-party software, I'm not able to get historical data, you can come into diagnostics and see, is there a problem with my connection to IQFeed? If all these pass the test, there's a fairly good likelihood it's a third-party software problem. We don't ever blame third-party software for any problem. Call us. Give us a ring. We'll help you try and troubleshoot it. So to run that test, again, stuff that customer service may ask you for, come over to your PC info, get some information about your CPU and things. You may want to report that to us if you're having trouble. Test connectivity. Run a ping test to our login servers and our data servers. So see what kind of connectivity you've got. Check what's running on your PC for various TCP connections. You can test various ports, so our level 1 port. Start listening on that port. Sometimes third-party applications, not charting applications, but maybe chat applications and so on, every once in a while get released that interfere with some of the ports we use. This will let you know if there's an application blocking any of those ports, maybe a virus scanner, for example. So this will allow you to test some of these ports. Say you're not able to get level 2, let's test the level 2 socket, make sure it's working okay. Big one here is the client stats. So it's somewhat unimpressive right now because I don't have a whole lot going on, but it does show on my level 1 socket I currently have an application called DJIQ connected. If I was running NinjaTrader, Sierra, or so on, you'd see that listed here as well. So you'd have multiple listings here. I'm going to bring up our snap quote. You see there in the diagnostics, the snap quote just came up. And I'm going to bring up the E-mini. So I'm now streaming some data on the E-mini. It's not a whole lot of data, but you'll see how much data is getting sent. And this is data getting sent from the IQFeed client running on your machine to the third-party software. So it's all more or less what's happening internal in your PC. But one of the key pieces to look at is this KB cube, kilobytes cube. So this is telling you if IQFeed is having trouble pushing the data out into that third-party software again, whatever that software may be, if it's having trouble. And what you might find is, you have 3 or 4 connections, you're running 3 or 4 different software applications. Connection may be queued for one of them, and that's just because that one software maybe isn't as efficient reading the data off the IQFeed client. So this gives you a really nice ability to see kind of what's going on internal to your machine. If you start, this would be the first place to check if you think that you're getting delayed data. Come and check and see if that KB queued is counting up there or not. So, and then logging. We give you the ability to do all kinds of logging, very granular or very broad. I'm going to tell you, don't do this. Don't log anything unless you're asked to. If you turn on logging and forget about it, it's going to write a lot of information. Obviously, again, we're talking thousands of messages per second. It's going to be logging that to a file on your PC. If you're having problems, it's going to exacerbate the problem because it's going to take up a lot of resources. So I would recommend staying away from that. But it's something that's a good tool for you to know that's available for you. So that is the diagnostics app. So again, I mentioned we're going to jump into the IQFeed API. This is a look that we've never given before. We're going to go through some of the sample apps real quick. Again, it's not going to be technical. I'm not going to show you code and things like that. But with the API, you do get the sample code. So with our API, you get dedicated support. Again, we've got Steve on this call. He's one of those support guys. You get full protocol documentation, sample apps, and code in both C++, .NET, Java, C#, the .NET stuff. You get access to our pre-production servers as well as beta software. So again, developers have been working with IQFeed 5.0 for several months now. We give them access ahead of time. They do some sanity checks. They report back problems. So there's a lot of testing going on before it gets to our end users that are downloading up our website. With the API, you can access data via TCP sockets or COM. I would always recommend TCP sockets. COM is less efficient. It's easier, but anybody who's working with real-time data, we really recommend you use the sockets interface. It's much more flexible and it's a lot faster. The fee for the API is $300 a year. It's an annual subscription that gets you access to all of this. So there's a lot involved there. With the API, you get streaming data. We're going to walk through some of this, so I'll skip the slides for the most part. Historical data. One of the things people don't realize is not only on the historical data do we have the tick, minute, and so on, We also have second interval bars, volume interval bars, tick interval bars, and you can access the data in any intervals that you want. So I want 9-minute, 5-minute, and so on. Those are all available. Also, going back to the streaming data, the administrative messages are a key. In the API, an API isn't just, here's a format for data. You also need to know what's going on with the underlying software, the underlying protocol, the underlying servers. There's administrative functions to make a really robust data feed and third-party software work together. So we've got a bunch of administrative messages, things that a programmer can access to know the state of IQFeed, how many symbols are being watched, what the throughput is. They can disconnect, reconnect, and do all those types of things programmatically through the API. We have lookup reference data, so you can do symbol lookups within the API. You look up symbols by industry classifications. You can pull option chains, futures chains, spreads chains, news stories, news search. All this stuff is available as functions within the API. You can also customize your field set. So if all I care about is watching the last price, I don't care about bids and asks and everything else, you can turn that on and only get the last price fed to your application. It's a lot less message handling for you, a lot more efficient. Customize the logging, command line initialization, and so on. So with that, I'm going to jump in real quick here and just show you some of the stuff from the API. And again, then we'll jump to some Q&A and hopefully be able to answer any questions that you have. So to start, first thing I'm going to show is we'll show the system info. So what you're looking at here is part of the API. This application comes with it, the C# sample application. You get not only the app but the code as well. So inside of here, I'm sending commands through the API to request listed market, the listed markets that we carry. Everything, we don't send NASDAQ with every quote and every trade that comes through for a NASDAQ stock. We send a code for that. And this allows the developer to pull the cross-reference for any of these market centers. Listed markets. We do market centers as well. We have various cross-reference code lookups. The trade conditions. We showed the trade conditions for IQFeed 5.0. Here's a list of all the trade conditions and the definition for those. So again, there's a lot of them. NAICS codes, so industry classifications, we do both the old and the new. The old codes are the SIC codes, the new one is the NAICS, and so here's all the classifications for those codes. I can take any one of these codes and enter it through the API in the symbol lookup and do a search by SIC or NAICS code, and it'll give me a list of every stock that is categorized under that industry classification. And again, security types. So again, what you're seeing here is the sample app that's exercising and demoing these functions that are available inside of the API. It helps the developer tremendously to be able to see that. Level 1 socket. So one of the sockets that's part of the API and as part of IQFeed is level 1 data. So here you'll see I just connected to the API and you're seeing the raw data that's coming back over the socket through IQFeed. First thing the customers get is a bunch of really fundamental information about the connection and the subscription. And then as an API developer, one thing I need to know is the current protocol, it's set to 5.0, and as well what field names, what fields I'm going to get. So I can tell IQFeed to send me whatever fields I want it to send me. It can send all of them or it can just send a subset. And then you'll see we're getting a timestamp. We send a timestamp out every second. That way we know that you're connected to the servers, and if there's ever a problem, we don't get a timestamp. I think Steve's probably going to smack his desk here with the mute on, but I believe if we don't get a timestamp for 5 seconds or so, IQFeed will automatically reconnect in the background. You won't even know it did it, but if it's not getting that timestamp, we know that there's some problem that's going to try and reconnect. So these are all the different things I can do with the level 1 on the level 1 socket, as we call it. So the most basic is I'm going to watch a symbol. Let's just go ahead and do @ES_pound. I'm going to send the watch command. That sent the watch command through the API, which is it's simple. The command is WMSFT, watch, or in this case @ES_pound. I'm going to also watch Microsoft since I keep saying it. So now I'm watching both Microsoft and @ES. I can add Apple. Watch. Now I'm watching 3 symbols. I can remove an individual one, so I've got Apple in there. I can hit remove, and that will remove it. I can also watch regionals. Let's say I'm watch Microsoft, I'm going to watch the regionals now. Regionals are a little less active at night, but you just saw a big flood of our message. Those are the regional quotes for Microsoft that are coming through. Again, very few third-party applications support it, commercial applications. We have a lot of individual developers, though, that like to watch those regional quotes. So I can send commands to turn those on and off. If you're running, say, NinjaTrader, for example, who doesn't display the regional quotes, there's no reason for them to turn them on because it just sucks up bandwidth and resources, so they don't ever send the command to turn it on. I can request a timestamp or force an update and turn news on. So now I'm getting the news headlines as they come through. So you can see that streaming through there. Every headline comes through then with a story ID that I can then use through the API to request the full text on that story as well. So again, you see all these regional updates coming through on Microsoft. I can send a command. I'm going to go ahead and remove all my watches. So all symbols that I'm watching are now off. I'm still getting news, however, so you can see that. I can turn off news now. So now I'm just getting timestamps. And I can click here to get all current watches, which there's none. If I watch Microsoft, and now I do current watches, it'll give me a list of, right now I'm just watching Microsoft. So as a developer, I can see what does IQFeed think I'm watching currently. If I want to get fundamental fields for Microsoft, there's a command for that. It's going to give you a list of all of the fields, and then the developer can then match that to the records that they're getting from the feed. I can set my field sets, all this other stuff that, again, it's just a lot of flexibility that a third-party developer or an individual developer has access to with our API. So that's a level 1 socket. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my watches again if I have any set. I think everything's turned off. So this is a history socket example. Again, not only the application but the source code is included with the API subscription. So I can come in here and do @ES_. I'm currently requesting history by data point, or tick data by data points. So let's just say I want to do 100 data points. Get data, it sends the command, and it's going to request 100 data points for @ES. So this is what the data looks like when it comes back from the server to get parsed. I can ask for interval data points. I can ask for tick data by day. So I don't want just 1,000 data points or 100 data points. I want 5 days of data for the E-mini. You can request it by day. You can request it by time frame. So there's a lot of flexibility in here for when do I want to start receiving the data. Say I'm recording everything off the stream, but I had a glitch in my internet connection yesterday between the hours of noon and 1 o'clock. Well, there's no reason to go download 2 days worth of historical tick data because you have everything but that 1 hour. So you can go back and request just the piece that you're missing, just that date and time. All the tick data has the tick ID in there, so it's very easy to match up with the stream. So everything you're recording has a tick ID, and you can all easily go back and match up and say, hey, this is the data between these tick IDs that I missed, so I can just fill in the data that I don't have. Again, daily data, weekly data, intervals. And again, I can do that by whatever interval I want. So whether that's a 1-minute bar, a 5-minute bar, or a 10-minute bar, 186-minute bar, the server will send you that. There's no reason, if all you want is 10-minute bars, there's no reason to ask for 1-minute bars because you're just going to get 10 times the data. So this will return the data a lot faster if you just ask for the interval. It will pre-compile it on the server for you. So that's how the history works. Market depth as an example. So I can come in here and let's look at the ES market depth. So there I just got the levels of depth, and as all those depths change, one level of depth changes, and pretty much all of them do. So I have access to that. Let's go ahead and remove that. Just for the heck of it, we'll do Microsoft again. So here's all the market makers for Microsoft. Again, as part of the API, just little hidden things. Let's say here's a market maker, WBLR. Let's see if we can find out who that is. So we request the market maker ID, and it scrolled too fast, but it was William Blair is what it said right here. So a developer can access who is that market maker that's associated with that market maker ID. So we'll remove that watch. And now we're just getting timestamps again. So that's how the market depth or level 2 socket works. One of the other things that's probably easier to show you is actually from our DJIQ application, the option chain. So this is all functionality as part of IQFeed's API as well, but this is a good way to display it. So let's just do Microsoft again, and we'll stick with that theme. I'm going to look at Microsoft. I want equity options. So these are all the criteria that you can request from IQFeed. There's a lot of flexibility here. I want to get just equity options. I can ask for just puts or just calls. I can ask for all months or certain months, just near months. So let's just do the near 2 months. I'm just going to limit it to 2 contracts in and out of the money. Save that and request Microsoft. So here I got 8 calls, 8 puts. So within the app, and just that fast. Now, it didn't pull back a whole lot of data because I filtered it. So let's go ahead and do no filter and see what happens here. So now I've got 76 puts and calls. And again, just that fast, it pulled back all the symbols as well as the data. And now I'm watching a stream on all that data within DJIQ. So the DJIQ Equity Option app is something that traders really like if they're trading options and just looking for the data. We don't do anything fancy with it, but if you want real easy access to the data, this is a great way to get access to it. I can come in here and I just do futures. Again, I call them futures chains. Let's say I want all months, and we'll go out a couple of years. Save that as a default. And we'll do QCL for crude. Here's all the crude contracts going out. Again, loading all the symbols in as well as all the data for crude as well. If I want futures options, we're going to get a lot of data, so I'm just going to do near months, but it's going to it's still going to give me a lot of data. Add ES. Here's all the options. There's 143 both puts and calls. You see a lot of the options don't trade very actively, but the ones that do have the data populated. And I can also do spreads. So if you're looking at spreads, I can enter in, say, at C for corn and get a list of all the corn spreads that are trading on the exchange. So again, a lot of functionality that a lot of traders don't know about. It's not only in our DJIQ app, but also available. That functionality is available inside of the API as well. So with that, I think I have at least demoed a few things I wanted to demo and talked about more than anybody cared about. So Mike, if you're still there, I think I'd like to open it up. And again, I think for anybody who's still awake, hopefully
no, you did great.
We've got some questions queued up, and
sure.
I want to preface with there is no question we won't answer. I may lie about the answer, but I will answer it. If we don't know the answer, we will find the answer for you and get back to you.
Okay.
If anybody has feedback, I hope it's positive, but if it's not, we'd like to hear about it. I take complaints as a positive thing for us as a company, so if there's ever anything that you're not happy about or things you want us to do that we're not doing, please communicate it to us. And if you do it in an open forum, I guess that just gives us an opportunity to respond in an open forum.
Right. Well, I appreciate the presentation, and if anybody has questions, they can go ahead and type them in. And while we're waiting for a few of those, I had a couple questions on my own.
Sure.
Can you tell everybody how Nanex comes into all this?
Sure. So, I think we did a webinar probably, about 6 months ago or so with Nanex. And what Nanex is a exclusive partnership. Well, Nanex is a separate company. They're not related to DTN in any way. But what we do have is an exclusive partnership for some of their technology, and their technology specifically called NCore.
Okay.
NCore spelled NX-Core. And it's an exclusive partnership where we take our ticker plant, marry it to their NCore technology, and use it as a distribution method for, as I call it, a whole market data feed.
Okay.
So whereas IQFeed, as I mentioned, allows you to stream 1,800 symbols at a time, NCore is an unlimited symbol feed. There is no option to say, only give me certain symbols. It's a full broadcast of every symbol, every message that comes through the exchanges.
Right. Okay.
So that the relationship there, Eric Hunsader at Nanex, we have a great relationship with him. He's kind of the tech guy behind highly compressed full market data streams whereas IQFeed is all in-house technology that is really made for individual trader workstations and symbol-based type trading.
Right. Okay. Do you have any type of an overseas customer network, or are your data centers U.S. only? Any plans to change or add that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. The answer is no. We do not have any servers international outside the U.S. It's something that periodically we look at, but ironically enough, and I don't fully understand why this always is, but we have customers that compare us. Honestly, I sometimes laugh about our customers and the fact that do they even really trade, or do they just subscribe to everything out there and scrutinize it? But we have a lot of people that use IQFeed and maybe came from another software or another data feed, and they're comparing us. And there's other feeds out there that do have servers internationally, more geographically diverse than what we have, and they come back and say that IQFeed's faster. And that's, Eurex, for example. Again, we don't claim to be ultra low latency. That's never a claim of ours. We are extremely fast for what we do. But Eurex data, yes, it comes overseas to the U.S., and if you're in Germany, it's going all the way back. So, there's a lot to overcome regarding latency from that standpoint. But we have customers using IQFeed that tell us that we are faster than another feed that has servers, say, in London, for example.
Right.
So it's one of those things that we could go and spend a lot of money to try and make it, to diversify our locations. Again, we're not trying to compete in that ultra-low latent space, so
right.
It's kind of like people who really need that, I think, they have ways to get it. They're going to have to pay for it.
Right. Two more questions for me, then I'll start taking some from the other guys. You mentioned the commitment of traders data, and I actually did not realize that you guys had that data available. Is that something that you can show us how to access that, or is it a symbol? How is that data being made available to us?
Yeah, so it is a symbol, and I can show you. It's one of the things that we've tried to talk to a couple of third-party developers about is, like we've worked with multi-charts, for example, and we're still in the process of having them build some default workspaces and things into their software, so it makes it easier because there's so many data elements that it's kind of hard to really see. But I think this is the right watch list here. So again, using just our basic DJIQ app. This is what it looks like. So this is the CFTC commitment of trader data. These are the symbols, so you can see they're somewhat cryptic. But if you go to the IQFeed website, go to the symbol guide, there's a commitment of traders and government reports. So we also have some USDA reports, the World Agriculture Supply Demand, the WASD report, and some of those other USDA reports. We ingest that data in. We elementize it as a symbol. So each of these elements here are a symbol, and then they're all chartable. So, for example, 10-year Treasury commercial net, just as an example, I'll bring that up in time and sales here, just to show you daily bars. So here's the daily data for that symbol. So this is, again, the raw data. That's
right.
I'll bring that up, I believe, here in the chart as well. It's just because it's not open, high, low, close kind of things. It's
right.
doesn't chart out all that well in our app. Again, it's a very basic app here. So, but you can see that data, and this is available, to any third-party app. The reason you may not be aware, I believe this is it's a premium service. I believe it's $25 a month to add on to your IQFeed to get access to this report data. But the report data, for example, the commitment of traders, is available in our system approximately within 5 minutes of the report release. So we're processing it as quick as possible once that report's released, and that new data point's going to be there as part of the historical data.
Okay. And last question of mine, I promise, and then we'll take some others. You showed snap quote. How do I get that? What are you doing to get that?
I completely forgot about the what we call watch quote. It's called snap quote in our DJIQ program, but watch quote is something we include in IQFeed now as well, primarily as a sanity check. What we ran into is a lot of customers are saying, so I'm watching this symbol in X software and it doesn't look right. Either the data is formatted wrong, or it's not updating, or something's wrong with it. So we decided, let's give them this tool so that they can see it. and that's, again, just about everything is right-click off the IQFeed Connection Manager. So if you right-click on there and go to Display Apps, there's an option in there, and this is recent. I'm not sure which version, whether it's 4.9 or maybe before that we made this available, but it's the IQ Watch Quote, and it looks just like the Snap Quote. But so within this application, I can type in a symbol, and it shows you all the data elements that are part of IQFeed for that symbol.
Okay.
So you got, and this is updating dynamically in real time. So again, I'll put in at ES to see it updating a little more. It's not super active by any stretch, but you can see the millisecond timestamp. You can see market centers. One thing also is the delay field. So this is a key piece that, you know, it's hard to explain to a customer that you always want to know that your data is in real time. All software out there isn't as good at letting you know whether that data is delayed. If you're not subscribed to an exchange in real time, it's going to be delayed. The fact that this delay field right here is blank tells me it's real time. I wish I had something here I'm probably not authorized for in real time, but if there was a delay, you know, for example, CME data is 10 minutes delayed if you don't pay the exchange fee, it would say 10 right there. So you would know that it's delayed data that you're looking at. But in addition, you know, looking at the equities, again, the fundamental data that I talked about is all down here in the bottom. So you see what the average volume was. You can see when the last two splits for Microsoft were and what the ratio was, percent held by institutions, what their growth rates are, what their debt is, what their liabilities, and so on. So a lot of fundamental data in here that a lot of third-party applications don't take advantage of.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start reading some of the questions, and then I guess you guys can decide on your end who needs to answer, from Curtis, Robert, Steve, or yourself. Abdil is asking, can we aggregate similar ticks in the time and sales window? So I know that, like, for some platforms like NinjaTrader, there's some tools on BMT where users have written studies to kind of piece together orders that come across as separate trades and try to put them back together. I'm assuming you don't have anything like that, but what's your answer?
So if I understand the question correctly, you know, there's different things the exchange does, and then there's different things software that you can do on the client side. Obviously, we can only send you what the exchange sends us, and I don't think this is what was being asked, but the whole bundling and unbundling of trades that the exchange has done. You know, they used to bundle certain trades and messages, and then they unbundled them. And while that was great for a lot of people, some software and some customers said, it's too much data now. I don't want to see, you know, every one of these trades. I want to see it bundled again. So, you know, directly, no, we don't have a flag or an ability to say bundle trades or unbundle trades. But again, we give the customers and the developers the flexibility to do as much as they can with that data. So I know Chad, Investor RT, they do a great job of taking the data and aggregating things that can be aggregated without impacting the analysis of the data. And you know, it minimizes the overhead of processing and displaying. You know, if there's 5 ticks that all happen in the same second, at the same price with the same size, you know, let's just call it all one.
Right.
So different software does that, and again, you know, what we have to be careful of is, as IQFeed, we're the data, and we have to provide all of the data, or as much of the data as we possibly can, and yet give the tools to third parties to do what they want with it, because every software wants to do something different. So it's kind of always a balancing act.
So you got to have a user that manipulates that data how they want. That's not your job.
Right, and so, you know, the specific mention of the time and sales app, no, our time and sales app doesn't. But it'd be very easy to write an application off the data in the API and just say, hey, this trade was the same as the last, so don't do anything, just throw it away.
Sal's asking why use DDE instead of RTD, and you touched on that in the presentation. You said that you have some third-party guys that are using RTD, like XLS.
Yep. Simple answer is for why is because we haven't got around to rewriting it and upgrading it. We've had the DDE client as part of IQFeed for the better part of 10 years, and when we implemented it, I could argue that there probably wasn't RTD at the time. There might have been, but DDE was the industry standard still at the time.
Right.
So it's purely a case of we just haven't got around to it. We actually have a project underway. I actually pulled out the piece where we were going to update to RTD. That was supposed to be under development right now. I pulled that piece out from the project just because the third-party applications do such a good job. They're so inexpensive that I'm not going to do it as well as them probably. So go spend $100 and get somebody who lives and breathes it and does it really well.
I said XLS, but I meant XLQ, Q Matrix. That's one of the ones you mentioned, right?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Okay. All right. Dustin's asking, he has a question about the API. He does not need streaming data, but he would like to get a snapshot of all option data, for example, hourly. Is that possible, or does he have to stream it?
Yeah, so if you're talking truly all option data, that's not available with IQFeed to get a snapshot of all options. We do have a product as part of our kind of commercial services group that what we call it's a 5-minute file. So we actually create a snapshot of the market on a periodic basis. So we actually do that every 5 minutes. Thus, your hourly, if you want to download a file of all of the options data every hour, it's an FTP file, common to limited data. We do have that service available. It's not part of IQFeed. Price-wise, it's going to be a little more expensive depending upon real-time, delayed, and how it's used, and so on. But you're probably looking at a couple $100 a month for that service. That being said, I'll give you at least a sneak peek of some things that we are working on, which is snapshot data out of IQFeed. Right now, again, everything's really built streaming. We don't do any really snapshot data, but there are developers that just don't want to have to handle the volume of data we're sending out. So we are working on a upgrade to IQFeed that will allow you to do snapshot data out of IQFeed. Again, it's not going to give you a full market. It's just not made for that. But if you want to get a snapshot of the E-mini every minute or every 30 seconds, or a snapshot of 500 stocks every couple of minutes, it'll push that out to you instead of you having to process it tick by tick.
Okay, great. Tony's asking.
Developers are probably going to smack me for saying any of that.
Tony's asking how much improvements have been made. How many improvements have been made on the Microsoft DDE side? I'm sorry, Tony, I'm really having a hard time understanding your question. I think he's asking again about DDE versus RTDs. We've already covered that. So Tony, if that's not the case, you can ask again. TP is asking, how do we set up IQFeed to work with a proxy?
That is specifically a proxy server, and just fortunately has been such there's not as many of them out there, so it hasn't been a priority for us. We don't currently support any kind of proxy setup. It used to be a big deal 12 years ago. We heard a lot about it, and it was actually a fairly high priority for us to resolve. But then, with the firewall technology and things, we just started seeing a lot less of an issue with proxies, so it never made it up our development list to get done. If you have a specific proxy server you're running with, I'd be more than willing to entertain it again. If it's, again, it's got to make business sense for us. If it's one customer running behind a corporate proxy and you can't get service, it's probably going to be tough for us to put development resources into doing something about that. But if it's a trading room that's got 100 users, they're behind a proxy, and we have an opportunity to get some business we can't otherwise, I'd like to learn more about that proxy server, and we can do some internal work. I can tell you back, again, 12 years ago when I was playing around with this stuff with proxy servers, there were some various applications that you could put as middleware between IQFeed and the proxy server, and we had, if I recall correctly, it was mostly working. There's maybe been some advancements in the technology since then, but we just haven't looked at it for several years.
Right.
So if it's an issue, bring it up to me, tell me what you're using, and we'll see if we can do something about it.
D is asking if he forms an LLC for his trading and he's trading his own money, does he have to pay professional fees to use IQFeed?
It depends what you're trading. So in general, the pro-non-pro questionnaire, and it's really more around equities companies that charge the pro versus non-pro fees? The answer is yes, in general. If you trade under a company name, if you're billed under a company name, you are considered a pro. It's an unfortunate thing, and quite honestly, I don't agree with any of those exchange regulations. We're part of FINRA, and we try and the FISD and stuff, and we try and help lobby against some of these rules with the exchanges because, quite honestly, some of them just don't make sense. But the simple answer is yes. If you bill to a corporate entity of any type, even though you're trading your own personal money, they consider you to be a pro. I wish that was not the case, and it's not our rule, but we definitely have to abide by it.
Sure. Gian Piero is asking why don't you or when will you support the Italian IDEM exchange?
Purely supply and demand. So again, as I mentioned, we are actively looking for what our customers and what our non-customers specifically, we'd love to expand our business internationally, and if it takes adding new exchanges, it's all a matter of money and return on investment. We are a for-profit business, and if I have to go and spend $10,000 a month to bring in the Italian exchange, and I'm going to make $300 a month in revenue off of that, it's not a very good business proposition for us. But that's why we have this database and why we want. If you want data from IQFeed and you want an exchange we don't carry, send us an email. Contact Robert, and I'm telling you, every day I get an email or two from him. That he's talking to a customer that needs some Asian exchange, Australian stocks. We have Australian futures, but we don't have the stocks. And the simple answer is that the cost of bringing in an exchange is twofold. One is the bandwidth and the telco connections to get the data into us, but it's the vendor fees that are really the killers for us. The vendor fees, the amount of money I have to pay to the exchange to be able to carry their data and resell it, is on some exchanges it's inexpensive, but others it's ridiculously expensive, to the tune of, again, several $1,000s a month. So we've got to make sure that we have the revenue to offset that.
Right. Okay. Bob's asking, are there any historical level 2 fees being planned? And I wanted to add on to that. You mentioned that you might be expanding the historical tick data. So he's asking for level 2 data, if that's going to be in the pipe at some point historically. Do you have anything to give us as far as tick data, specifically futures? Most people on BMT are futures traders. So, I've given you a hard time in the past that I'd like to see more futures data.
Yeah. And so, in short, the answer would be no. We don't have any plans to do historical level 2 or market depth information as part of IQFeed. We do have historical data as part of our Encore platform, and the price difference between the two products it depends who you are. To some people it's significant, others it's not. And the fact is it is a lot of data, and they are two different platforms. I would hate to store the data twice for the two platforms. So, we just don't have enough demand to do it. If you really need it, we have it available as part of our Encore product.
Right. Okay.
Regarding the expanding tick data, it will be coming. It's all about storage space, and disk space is cheap, but disk space with the speed of drives that we use and the redundancy that we need is not cheap. So that being said, yes, we are going to be expanding the tick data. We're just making sure we do it right and don't cause problems for everybody.
Okay. Greg is asking about OS X support.
Okay, so OS X as in Mac OS X.
Right.
That is another big initiative we have this year. Whether we get to it or not remains to be seen, but cross-platform compatibility is definitely a key item that we're focused on. We want to make IQFeed available both to OS X, to Linux. Granted, IQFeed, we do have customers using it both on Linux as well as OS X. Under Wine, if you're familiar with Wine, it's somewhat of an emulator. I know they hate when I say it's an emulator because it's not. But IQFeed does run without issue on those emulators. I have run IQFeed and our DJIQ client on a Mac at home myself without issue. It's not for the faint of heart. It's possible, but yes, we do. Our goal is to make it cross-platform version of IQFeed.
Right. Yeah, I've run it before under Debian for under Wine, and Debian it worked just fine. So yeah, you can do it. Robert's asking, do you support weekly options?
Yes.
Rick is asking if you can export the data from the IQFeed watch quote screen.
That's a great question. I don't know. Let's see. Save. And yes, you from the watch quote you can. So, but keeping in mind the watch quote is just the current quote, so you can save that to a text file. Within our DJIQ application, the time and sales app, we call it time and sales, but it's a multi-purpose app. It's more or less a history viewer. The time and sales app does have an export function to export the data that you pull up in that time and sales window. And then there's other great third-party tools. We have a lot of customers using Q Collector that will take the data through our API, store that historical data into various file formats for you automatically as well.
Right.
So if that's what you're trying to accomplish, it's a great third-party app. We have a lot of customers using it.
I use Q Collector myself, but there's also, I want to give props to a guy on the forum, Bob, on BMT. He's written an application called BA Bar, and it's a backfill application that's kind of similar to Q Collector. It works with you guys for backfill. Let's see. And it's free for anybody that's on BMT. Here's a question from Sales. Sales is asking, are the millisecond times calculated by the servers, or are they directly from the exchange?
Directly from the exchange. Yeah, that's and that was, I think I mentioned that too. If some of the exchanges don't send millisecond timestamps,
right.
So for those particular exchanges, we're going to provide the resolution that they provide. So no, the trade times and things that come through, we don't make them up. They are from the exchange.
But for example, the CME is timestamping everything down to millisecond.
Correct. Yeah, most of the exchanges are. Again, I think it's Eurex. Just I probably should give somebody another chance to talk. But Steve, if you're there and can unmute, I think you dealt with that. Is that Eurex that was not doing milliseconds? If Steve is still on.
Yeah, the Eurex is in hundredths of a second instead of milliseconds currently. And then the other big one is the Forex data is still just second resolution, I believe.
Okay.
Thanks.
BR is asking, is there any type of, he wants to have a peek at the market scanner.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll work now at 5 o'clock Central.
No, it'll work. It's just pretty, it's going to be pretty lame. So this is what it looks like. Again, choose most actives, gainers, losers, and so on. Little slider here that changes how many symbols it's going to get back by market. We haven't updated the app for quite a while, so we still call it NYSE Alt, which is actually Amex or NYSE Market these days. But some of the pre-built scans and then the custom scans, again, after market hours, not as impressive, but what I've got here, percent change greater than 10, close greater than 10, run query, and here's a list of stocks that match the criteria.
Now this is actually sending a request to the IQFeed servers. I mean, it's not listening to 500 symbols and then filtering. It's only
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that we have a server running, scanning the entire market for that criteria. And what it does is return back to the app just a symbol list, and then the app does a watch list on those symbols to get the market data. But the symbol list is being driven off of the criteria you put in here.
Now, is that
one thing I will caveat is that this is not available through the API.
That's what I was going to ask.
This is the one piece of our system that we have not made an API interface into yet. So.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's see. Sales, again, asking, is there any way to identify having a hard time understanding the question. Is there any data to properly identify different players? I think he's possibly talking about market makers. I'm not sure. Sales,
Yeah,
you're going to have to clarify what that means.
that's my guess is, looking for, is there a way to identify who the party of a trade was? There isn't.
That would be nice.
Yes,
if you're the CFTC, you can do that.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing that we get from the exchanges that are going to identify who the parties of the trade were. On the quotes, when you're talking equities, level 2 data from NASDAQ, it is going to show the market maker making the quote.
Right.
But again, it's a quote, not a trade.
Right. Okay. Lyle asking about general partnerships as far as tax purposes. I'm trying to understand. He's saying, let's say that there's a general partnership between husband and wife for tax entity purpose. Would he still be considered a non-professional status?
Yeah. Again, the exchange rules themselves for that pro-non-pro are pretty clear. It's a partnership. You could argue that that's not a business. In the end, every customer has to fill out this pro-non-pro questionnaire. There's 5 questions there. If you can answer yes to any one of those questions, you are a professional. I will tell you that even if you can answer no to all of those questions, the exchange has liberty to audit that. And they've gone as far in one of the meetings last summer, and I just am blown away by this. But at one point they said they don't care what a customer fills out. They don't care how much investigation DTN or any other company does into the customer. If they have an address on Wall Street, they will consider you a pro. So as an individual trading his own money, if you go and rent a apartment on Wall Street, they're going to consider you a pro. And again, in the end,
that's how they.
We're not a police investigative agency.
Right.
We have to do our best to make sure that you're not skirting the rules. If you answer no to all those questions, and there's no indication that you're a business entity, I have to assume you're non-pro.
Right. Okay. Okay. I don't see any other questions from any guys in the room right now. I'm kind of wondering, Jay. I mean, do you have somebody within the organization that kind of like lobbies against the CME? Because there's got to be many times where there's things that come up that you want them to do or change their behavior, and they don't want to change.
Sure. So you mentioned CME. Right. We have a relationship with all the exchanges. Some of those relationships are good. Some of them are bad. I will tell you, CME is fantastic to work with.
Okay, that's great.
We have actually a meeting. I believe it's every 2 weeks. It might be monthly, but I think it's every 2 weeks with account managers and their market data staff from the CME. It's a great meeting, and they are absolutely listening to feedback. We're giving them feedback all the time. Hey, you're not providing this data correctly. If you provide the data through your protocols this way, it'd be so much better for everybody, and so on. So we have a great relationship with CME when it comes to exchange fee waivers and everything. Again, great relationship. There's talks of exchange fee waiver programs changing and stuff. They definitely listen to us. I mean, all the exchanges listen. Some of them not don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But we do have even myself, but as well we have staff that does go out and works with the exchanges.
Well, like ICE, for example, and Russell, and the decision that was made a while back to that's. I mean, there's still people today that are complaining about that on the forum because for a data provider like IQFeed, it's you're at a disadvantage due to.
Yes, so I'll go back to my comment that some exchanges we work really well with, some of them we don't. I'll let you interpret that however you want.
Okay, a couple of last questions, then we'll wrap it up. Graham's asking, what's the difference in fees used to calculate on the website for CME as far as both pro and non-pro?
Yeah, CME does not distinguish pro and non-pro for fees, so it's the same price regardless.
Okay. Brian asking, he says, by the way, percent is misspelled in the diagnostics machine info screen.
Oh, my. Well, luckily Steve's on here, and luckily we're still in beta, so hopefully we can get that fixed.
Brett says,
the French, it's owned by a French company now. Maybe we just use the French.
There you go.
Stuff.
Brett's asking if you know of any issues with multi-charts and their millisecond-based timestamping of ticks.
I'm not aware of any. I'm not even aware that they've released support for it yet, but I know they're planning on it if they haven't, but I am not aware of any issues with it, no. We have a great relationship with multi-charts. If any of you are using multi-charts, you may have seen that we now offer a 30-day trial for multi-charts users. So we have a lot of multi-charts customers now, and I have not heard of any issues. If there is an issue, definitely let us know, and again, we have a close relationship with them where we can contact them and get to the bottom of it.
All right, with that, I think that's a good place to stop. If anybody had a question that they did not get answered, there's a thread on BMT for this webinar. There's also an Ask Me Anything thread for Robert, who has been on the call this entire time but has been silent. So he can help get any question answered. And then, Jay, is there another way? Right there we have his info on the screen. There's his email address and phone. So for anybody that did not get a question answered, that's the best way to get a hold of you guys, right?
Absolutely. And Robert, you can at least real quick say hi maybe, but sorry we didn't
I'm just popping in to say hi.
Hey, Robert. How's it going? It's,
so yeah, again, Robert's here to help any of the big mic users, and you can send him a private message on the forum itself, or give him a call.
And happy birthday, Robert. Go get out of the office and go enjoy.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so thanks, guys. Thanks, Jay, for taking the time to put everything together and to stick around and answer everybody's questions. Thanks, Robert, for always being there on the forum and answering everybody's questions on the site. And Curtis and Steve for being part of the call today. I'll post the recording of this on BMT sometime tomorrow, and hope everybody has a good one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye.